Hi friends, time for a new stock analysis because I got curious of an European multinational company operating globally that has, get this, during the last 10 years returned compounded annual growth rate for investors of nearly 15% a year without taking any dividends into account even. True compounder business with founder still as CEO of the company and together with his family owning today still 33% of this company with market cap of almost 12 billion euros. What company am I talking about? Eurofins. Let me now read quickly the intro by ticker.com to what is Eurofins. Eurofins Scientific SE, through its subsidiaries, provides various analytical testing and laboratory services worldwide. The company offers a portfolio of approximately 200,000 analytical methods for evaluating the safety, identity, composition, authenticity, origin, traceability, and purity of biological substances and products, as well as for clinical diagnostic. It provides agro science, agro testing, biopharma, contract development and manufacturing organization, clinical diagnostics, consumer product testing, digital testing, electrical and electronics, environment testing, food and feed testing, forensic, genomic, industrial materials and engineering, medical device and reach services. The company serves clients from a range of industries including the pharmaceutical, food, environmental and clinical diagnostic sectors. It operates approximately 800 laboratories in 50 countries. The company was founded in 1987 and is headquartered in Luxembourg City, Luxembourg. So what is my main idea of wanting to become an owner of Eurofins? Eurofins is a big diversified company in its industry, constantly growing organically and via acquisitions. And they are planning on continuing to do so to achieve even better economies of scale and all the advantages that come with the big size in your industry. CEO Gilles Martin even highlighted in the last conference call that should there be any economical turmoil in the markets and trouble in their industry, Eurofins would be better off than their smaller competitors and would seek additional acquisitions should good targets become available, with good price obviously. In this sense, there is similarities with my other investment in Carriage Services, the funeral home operator and all related businesses in the United States, that is Carriage Services. I believe when the things get tough, the market might present opportunities for these kinds of consolidator companies like Eurofins, like Carriage Services. I like it, I have to say. And what about testing industry then in itself? It has been growing wildly in the past and it is difficult for me to see how testing would not grow also in the future as science teaches us more about ourselves, our food, our environment and products we use and such. Let's dig a little bit deeper now into what I like about the company Eurofins especially. Firstly, founder CEO Dr. Martin and family own still 33% of the company. This is ultimate skin in the game. I love it. This is such a big plus for me as a value investor. I love it when decision makers have their skin in the game, and I do hate it when they don't. So Dr. Martin and the family owning 33% of the company, huge skin in the game, huge plus as an investment for me. Next, as said, consolidator that buys smaller companies in the industry and takes bigger piece of the pie all the time. Pie being obviously the testing industry. I like consolidator businesses as said. This is, in my opinion, a hedge against bad economic times in my opinion. When things get rough, it will get rough on you too, for Eurofins too, but if you're able to buy out competitors that are in distress, it might be time of huge opportunities also. Possible win-win scenario, whatever happens in the economy, you need to like that. Then, the company is truly a global operator. Diversification of risk is something I like in the company. For example, 52% of the revenues right now come from Europe, 37% from North America, not North Africa, North America 37%, 11% rest of the world is how their revenue is divided by segment at the moment. I don't know if I read this from somewhere or did I hear somebody else mentioning it, but the company will probably be even more diversified geographically in the future, as most of their acquisitions probably will concentrate outside Europe. So diversification geographically is there. Also, there is diversification by business operations because they serve such a huge number of industries. So there's that also. As mentioned in the description of the company, you had huge number of industries that require services Eurofins is providing. So you have that kind of double diversification there. I like that. Then obviously something so important in so many industries, economies of scale, and is something Eurofins has and is trying to achieve all the time even better. So economies of scale really important in these kinds of industries. Vital, I would even say. Also something to like is that when you have a big company with lots of subsidiaries like Eurofins, there is sure to be some kind of spread of knowledge, I hope, in a great degree, when you have lots of talent across the world working with each other, hopefully teaching and learning new things. So kind of talent management mode is what there could be with Eurofins, in my opinion, to some extent. And all of this, especially the economies of scale, combined with healthy balance sheet that Eurofins has. They have debt, yes, but overall debt seems to be under control and they seem to have a healthy balance sheet. So all of this together should come to me to represent some kind of sustainable competitive advantage and moat for the company, and that is why I'm so excited about the company Eurofins. As said, Eurofins has been true compounder business with great track record. Simply in the past, awesome results for the company. Congratulations to everyone who have been long-time owners of Eurofins. You have done absolutely great and found yourself a great company, at least in the past, hopefully also in the future. And as said, the industry, in my opinion, should continue its growth as science brings us new information every minute and new things need to be tested constantly, more that might affect us humans or our planet. So it's really difficult for me to see how the demand for Eurofins services would somehow decline in the future. I don't see that happening anyhow. So those were the things I like about Eurofins. Then what do I see as potential risks with Eurofins? First risk that comes to my mind is slowing economy, and more specifically the bull run after global financial crisis has made business too rosy for Eurofins. Let me explain this via example. I know it sounds, do you think the only risk is bad economy? Well, that concerns every company in the world, right? Yes, but let me explain a little bit more deeply this one. I don't know if I'm totally wrong on this one, but listen to me and comment in the comment section below. What do you think, if my fear here is relevant or not? Imagine that during the last 12 years or so, we had our booming economy and the money has been free as it has been. There are 10 potato chips manufacturers in Europe that all compete in the market. 8 of them are badly run businesses and 2 of them are excellent. Now enter 2023 and years beyond. 8 of these potato chip companies will go bankrupt. For some miracle, all of these 10 companies each had 10 different flavors in their chips. All of them were customers of Eurofins in terms of quality testing of the chips. Eurofins used to test thus 100 differently flavored chips in a year, but now when 8 go bankrupt, they have only 2 companies left to test. This means there are only 20 chips flavors in the market anymore, and instead of 100 chips to be tested, Eurofins now tests only 20 a year. That's a decline of 80% in Eurofins revenue in this case. Now this was a simplistic example of what bad times in the market might mean for Eurofins. Is this a relevant risk or not? Is this something we should be thinking of? Maybe, at least I'm thinking of it. But as said, this would hurt the whole testing industry and might push smaller testing companies in the brink of bankruptcy and would thus present opportunities for Eurofins in the form of acquiring these smaller businesses with bargain prices, hopefully. Also, one might say that yes, this might be a bad thing, but eventually a new bull run would come, and if Eurofins stays afloat, it would be again time for those bull run profits Eurofins has seen in the past. all of this then would relate to the question, would it be a better time to buy Eurofins stock at later, worse economic times than now? Probably yes is the answer, but I am not personally going to be the one trying to time the market. Sorry for this long monologue, but this is what I have been thinking of. Let me know, do you think this is all relevant to Eurofins or not? Well, in addition to this, bad things around the stock is, what I found is that insiders seem to have only been selling the stock like throughout the last year, although with higher valuations than now, but no one is buying at the moment. Then again, when Dr. Martin and family already own huge chunk of the company, maybe they do not need to or want to own even more of the company. So yeah, this is not a big deal for me, I have to say. Then before we hit Arctic money criteria and valuation of Eurofins, let me read to you how Dr. Martin concluded the last conference call as it summarizes how he, as the most important person of the company, sees the world now. Quote, "Thank you very much. So yes, to conclude, we see the same attraction for our sector as in the future. It could well be that this situation that, as you can imagine, if it affects Eurofins a little bit, it affects smaller market participants in a much bigger way. It turns out to be actually a big opportunity for a well-financed company, and in the end, this sector is required. So we need tests to stay healthy. The environment needs to be tested. There's going to be even more so with the new green economy we are going towards. Agriculture has to become more efficient. We have to use the soil to sequestrate CO2. We are providing solutions for that. And biopharma has many new tools to develop the cures of tomorrow for cancer and other chronic diseases. So our markets, we think, will remain very resilient, that the current transient problem that we are seeing after a few quarters will probably be behind us. We'll use this time to continue to build up our competitive advantage and our unique position to be always more the reference suppliers of the main clients globally. And so we're going to, as usual, as we did many times in the past, we'll do our best to turn those types of challenges into opportunities and deliver a very strong company over the next 5 years period. And of course, we try to each quarter to do our best to use the cash wisely that our shareholders are making available to us. Thank you very much. End of quote. So he's got me convinced in the conference call. I have to admit that these are wise words in my opinion throughout what the CEO, Dr. Martin, was saying in the conference call. Now let's check out Arctic money criteria. It has been a while since the last time, so let's go. So here on the screen you can now see Arctic money criteria on Eurofins. Let's go it through quickly. Do I understand the business and the industry? 0 to 5 points. I give 3. Testing industry, how needed it is in the world, how vital it is for so many industries. I feel like I get a pretty good understanding of the business and its role in the world. So yeah, I give 3 points for that. Not too difficult industry for me to understand, let's say so. Second point, does the business have moat? 0 to 5 points. I'm gonna give 4 here. It's 3 or 4, but I'm gonna go with the 4. They have economies of scale, definitely. I believe they have big talent pool of people and knowledge also through all the acquisitions globally. And talking about global, they have global reach, which obviously must be a good thing in terms of their global clients. They can serve Eurofins as the same company can serve them in all different geographical markets. So yeah, this comes with the big size. I think the global reach is a source for the moat. Surely I'm gonna give maybe the last point on brand too. As a respected old operator in the industry, Eurofins is known in the industry, so they actually might have some brand value even in the industry. I don't think their customers are so eager to find a new testing company in the future if everything works fine with Eurofins as it has always worked. So I'm gonna give 4 points for the moat. Next up, does the management team and the board have skin in the game? Well, this is gonna be clear, full, straight, direct 5. CEO, founder and family owning 33% of the company. No need to think this further. This is full 5 points. Are insiders buying the stock? As said, well, indeed they were not buying, so that's a 0. Are super investors buying or holding the stock? Let's give 1 point because Sequoia Fund has 6.3% position. So one famous super investor here has Eurofins in their portfolio. So that absolutely is 1 point for that. Are people who I follow buying or holding the stock? I give 1 point. This idea for me was presented by another YouTuber called Oscar 100%. Go check out his channel too. I was pretty convinced of his expertise, his work he had done on Eurofins. So he is now a YouTuber I follow. So I'm gonna give a 1 point for that. Go check his Eurofins videos. I think he's talking really good stuff there. And finally, the most important points, 0 to 20 points, DCF intrinsic value, is the stock undervalued? Right now I'm gonna give as high as 14 points for that, and we're gonna hit that valuation next, so let me talk more about that then in the next section, next in the video. But as you can see, 28 points, that's pretty good points for the Arctic Money criteria, I have to say. But I'm not going to show you the Arctic Money ranking of other companies, other stocks now, since it has been from last October since I last time updated it, and I need to update it again because there has definitely been changes to that top list, so you need to check my upcoming videos for that. But now let's see the valuation I have made on Eurofins next. And now the valuation of Eurofins. With the discount rate of 10%, I ended up the fair value of Eurofins to being as high as 103.5 euros. 103.5 euros. The current stock price is somewhere around 61 euros. So yeah, I feel Eurofins is really undervalued. As said, fair value was there in 103 euros. The margin of safety, my personal margin of safety, you surely will have your own one. Because you have your own valuation, you must have your own margin of safety too. This is only my opinion, my own valuation, my investing, not yours. You do your own, as you know. Anyway, margin of safety for me to buy the stock goes in 67 euros, which means that the stock price we're having 61 euros right now. That's under margin of safety, and that definitely means that I have bought the stock in my portfolio. I have opened a small to medium-sized position on Eurofins. This is a new company for me. I will keep following it. Hopefully see the stock price going down even more, and I really might grow this position to be a bigger one. And oh, one more thing I need to say before I forgot. About this valuation, I tried really hard to filter out all the positive tailwinds of COVID for Eurofins and kind of ignore the whole COVID business, kind of, because this corona testing industry obviously benefited the company a lot. This is also why you saw the stock price going hugely up and then down like many other stocks too. But yeah, COVID was helping Eurofins as a company because they did lots of COVID tests. So that was a clear positive tailwind for them that will not continue in the future anymore. We all hope it won't continue. We don't want to have coronavirus again. So yeah, this small specialty one needs to take into account, in my opinion, for sure, if you're doing a valuation on Eurofins. And as said, in my valuation, I have tried to filter out the COVID effects, let's say so. What do you think of Eurofins? Let me and others know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so for some interesting videos coming up in the near future. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.